How are we doing, guys? And welcome back to All Leeds TV. It's your player ratings for Liverpool 1, Leeds United 2. It's a much more happy live All Leeds TV video, this one. Please get those likes in, smash that subscribe button if you haven't done already, and get those comments in as well as we go through the players. And talking of fantastic things at this moment in time, we've got a fantastic prize on offer from Football Prizes. So do check it out. Can you see my screen? Hopefully you can. Look at this for a prize. We've got less than a day left on this one. It's the Leeds United 1972 squad signed and framed shirt. Just under a day left on this one. $3.95 a ticket, 149 tickets available at the start, so that's probably gone down quite a bit, guys. So get in there if you are after this prize. And the competition ends on Tuesday, the 1st of November, tomorrow. So do check it out, guys, and all the other competitions at Football Prizes. There is some fantastic stuff on offer here. Again, even if you're not a Leeds fan and watching this, or just a general football fan, there's plenty of fantastic stuff here. Do check it out, guys. And yeah, we'll get into this one. So, and you know what also starts on the 1st of November? Phil, what also starts on the 1st of November? November. Are you doing it this year, mate?
I'm already kind of there, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to take it on. I'm going to take on November this year. I do every year. It gets more horrendous, the attempts every single year. But yeah, I'll take it on. I'll do it for charity. Not sure how to arrange it yet, but I will arrange it at some point, guys. So if you do think I start looking a bit weird, that is the reason why I'm doing November. I've not gone for a new look as such. Anyway, let's just get into this. Phil, Illan Meslier, for me, straight away, was man of the match on Saturday. I genuinely think we're talking 9 or 10s here for Illan Meslier, personally, just for pure shot stopping. He was just unbelievable. In the comments, guys, let us know your thoughts on Illan Meslier. But Phil, you've got a different take on every player this week. I don't get it. What was your take on Illan Meslier?
You're going to kill me here because, mate, you're killing me already just by going so high that no matter what I say, I'm going to be negative.
Real. Let's get some comments in on Illan Meslier. Come on. 10. Yeah. We've had a 9.5, a 10, a 10. I've gone 9, which feels quite low. Big hi to Liam there. Mike's gone 8. I think Mike's gone quite low there. I've gone 10. So in the midst of all these 10s, 9s and 8s, what have you gone for, Phil?
I've got him at a 7.
How? How have you only got him at a 7? Right, just you've got 10 seconds to explain how you've only got him at a 7.
Well, like, 7's good, isn't it? Like, 6 is average.
He was more than good. He was fucking unreal, is probably the words I'd use.
7's decent. Like, his shot stopping was very good. I'm not going to question that. I think distribution and flapped at a couple of crosses, maybe not perfect, so I definitely won't be going 10s.
What crosses are these?
In the first fucking 30 seconds, he almost had a Kiko moment with Cooper.
Come on, that's all on Cooper, that one.
Right, even still, it wasn't a perfect performance. But look, I'm not saying he had a bad game. I've said he's had a good game.
I think you are. I mean, I feel backed up here. I mean, I cannot. Am I being harsh on Phil here, guys? I cannot understand how you can only give a goalkeeper who's won us a game at Anfield, a place where Liverpool haven't lost in front of fans since April 2017 in the Premier League, and you're only giving our goalkeeper a 7 who's made, I don't know how many saves, probably 8 or 9 saves in the game. 9 saves, and you're giving him a
Premier League record this season as well. So, look, mate, I'm happy to accept I'm probably going to need to bump up by at least a full mark on everybody tonight. So get used to this, and I'll take the abuse. But
I'm not even going down the middle. I'm going to put my foot down on this one and say we're going to 9. I'm not meeting you in the middle with an 8. It's a 9.
Fine. My missus has been telling me for the last 2 days I needed to put that one up, but yeah.
Well up. I might allow the other ones, but even Gail Dale's having a go at you. I love that Gail never missed an opportunity.
Yeah, Gail. Mate,
any live video we do, and you can say that, to be fair to you, at this moment in time. Phil, what are you talking about?
Oh man, I'm gonna piss some people off with some of
You
this.
really have. We've got one player, and you're getting that. I can feel them dislikes on this video coming straight away. But I'm not agreeing with this, guys. I am not agreeing with this. Can you at least agree, Phil? He was man of the match for Leeds.
I had someone else as man of the match. In all honesty, we'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get onto it. But I hope they got more than a 7.
They got a 7.5. So that's my highest mark.
Who's gone for? It's a 7.5.
Look,
how? That's like the lowest I've gone with. The lowest I've gone with is 7.5.
I'm accepting now. They have got some of this a bit wrong, yeah? Look, I got home from that Liverpool game and managed to fall asleep in the plank position with my chin over the bin. So maybe that is a good explanation as to why.
Before anyone writes any more hate, let's just bear that in mind that Phil was clearly... He'd been on the Jaeger bombs at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
I was seriously fucked up by the time I got to the end of that game. But look, I enjoyed myself and it was a fucking good game. It just doesn't look like that in the numbers. But I promise you, I am happy. And anything
the highest player a 7.5. And I bet you gave players higher than that for... When was the last time we did this?
You had a pop at me last time.
I think we're giving people higher than that for Brentford. Oh,
no, I didn't.
I'm fuming with that. I'm fuming. In fact...
You'll enjoy my low ones as well then. Oh, don't do this to me.
I swapped the order around now. You're on the left. You're presenting now. Rasmus Christensen. Now, come on, Rasmus Christensen. I have got to say, last 3 or 4 games, he's consistently been in the 7s and 8s. Apart from Leicester, where everyone was like a 5 or a 6. Rasmus Christensen's consistently been in the 7 or 8s for me. I think he's been solid. I thought he did a really good job on Darwin Núñez, Andy Robertson when he came over onto that side as well. Or when he overlapped on that side, I thought Rasmus has been solid. Really good delivery in the box for Brendan Aaronson's chance to maybe even put us 2-1 up at that point. I thought Rasmus was really good. Again, I've gone a solid 8 for Rasmus.
Really don't.
I know it's automatically lower, Phil. I know it's going to be lower, so hit me with it. What have you gone for with Rasmus Christensen?
I went 6.5, but I'm happy to.
Stop it. Now this is getting silly now. I'm genuinely getting annoyed with this. We've won away at Anfield, and he's dropping 6.5 on our defenders. What rating did you actually go for, Phil?
I went 6.5. I can show you. And it's 6 is average. And
he wasn't average though. He was.
No, I said I'm happy to bump up to a 7. I thought he was good.
That's good of you.
He is the one that gets caught out of position for Salah's goal. Other than that, he had a really good game. I liked him bombing down the right, good crosses into the box. It was a good game. I probably am being a bit harsh at 6.5. So we'll go 7, and you've got your 8, and we meet in the middle, 7.5. Good result, that.
As Callum Firth says, I have to agree with this. Rasmus, I think, has been absolutely solid lately, getting some good crosses in the box. I think he might be being a little bit harsh on the goal. To be honest, I think it's a really, really quick move. The ball's flashed across goal. There's not a lot of time to react on it. The ball's come across initially, and then it's come back across. I mean, I don't know. Well, I'll see it again. I've actually genuinely not watched it.
It just loses him, but mate, I'm not trying to say it was a bad performance. It's one of them. He's a world-class player. His salary scored against us every time he plays against us. So,
that was always going to happen. That was always going to happen. A 6 here, to be fair. Millenship agrees with you on a 6.
Mate, I didn't even go 6. No, it's 6.5. Get this guy on. Abuse him.
I think that's back to fill up that now. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm bringing everybody down to earth where they belong. Let's remember, guys, 8 games without a win, and then let's go and beat Bournemouth next.
Pay attention to the game in the future,
mate. It's hard when you're fucking 8 pints deep. I'll be honest, but I tried.
I didn't know any of this, by the way. I didn't know he'd been drinking during the thing. I'd have got Chris on in that case. I got CK on. I'm only messing. Okay, centre backs. Robin Koch. Again, I know you're going to go lower than me here. But I thought Robin Koch was superb. I actually thought it was Robin Koch's best game of the season, to be honest. I thought against Darwin Núñez, never really gave him anything in the game. Some heroic blocks, some heroic bits of defending. I've gone an 8 on Robin Koch. I thought he was by far the most solid of the two centre-backs. And I thought he was really good. Robin Koch, 8, so I've gone for. And Phil, what have you gone with? And let's get some comments in, guys, for Robin Koch.
Can I explain before I give numbers? So I can give an explanation. Okay.
That's probably a good idea. It's definitely a good idea.
So, I agree with you 100%. Best of the two centre-backs. I think it was not his best performance of the season. I've seen quite a few that I thought he was doing really well up until this bad run of the last few games in particular. I thought he was absolutely fine. But look, your goalkeeper doesn't get man of the match and make the most number of saves in a Premier League game if you're not allowing chances on goal. So when I'm saying I gave him a 6.5, I don't think I'm being all that harsh. I'm happy to round it up to a 7. We've defended well enough to come away with 3 points at Anfield. I accept that. But they did have a lot of shots. They did bully us in certain areas.
They were going to. It's Liverpool. They were 2 games away from the quadruple last season, man. Come on.
You can't say that Meslier gets this rating because he makes this many saves, but then also praise the people that allow him to make that many saves. I am still saying that these players played well. I am saying it's an above average performance. They've done well. We've won the game, and I'm happy. But I'm not going to go crazy and start giving out 10s. We've not beaten them 6-0. We've scraped a winner in the last minute in a game that, let's be honest, did we deserve to actually go out and win it? We stayed in the game until the last minute, and we nicked a win with a good goal.
Yes, because our defence and goalkeeper produced a heroic performance.
Yeah, and I've given him a 7. I'll round up to a 7.
And that's a heroic. Dear me.
I always tell you.
Really 3 players in as well, and I'm already getting stressed out. My heart rate's gone up like here. I swear you're just doing this to annoy me.
I'm not. I can send you the list and everything.
I don't want to see them. I'm really messing. It's all about opinions. It's all about opinions on All East TV, even if it's like, I don't.
I'm not even saying it was bad. I'm just a bit more balanced and everything, I think. I'm buzzing as well.
Okay. We'll get on to Liam Cooper. Liam Cooper, now this is where I am going to go. I am going to go with a little lower than where you have gone with, because there was 2 mistakes that could have cost us goals in the game. Very nearly did in the first minute. It could have been a totally different occasion. But I still thought Coops recovered well and had a decent game. I've gone 7.
Okay. Doable. I thought it was a below average performance from Cooper. Okay. That's why you'll get where I'm going with the number.
Okay. We're getting a pattern with the numbers, okay. What's your number?
6 is average, so I've gone 5.5 because, let's be honest, it was the most Cooper-ish performance I've seen in the Premier League. I'll be honest. There was some Cooper and Kiko moments in there, not 1 but 2, maybe even 3. I do love Liam Cooper. I'm very happy that he's our captain. I'm very happy that he's starting in that position and not Diego Llorente. But I just don't think that was his greatest performance, and it put us at risk. And
I can agree with that. I can agree with that, but I did think he recovered well. I think if you look at moments in the game, like match of the day highlights, you say yes, Liam Cooper was very dodgy in the game, but you look at his general performance, I thought it was good. To be honest, I think really when you consider what Liverpool had going forward, Firmino, Salah, Núñez, I think other than Salah's goal, the chances that did fall to Liverpool, let's just remember, they didn't really fall to them 3. They fell to the likes of Henderson or Harvey Elliott, or I think Fabinho had one later on, and Robertson had one. It didn't really fall to the big 3 as such. From what I can remember anyway, I don't remember having that many attempts on goal, or that many dangerous attempts on goal. So I feel a bit justified going a 7. Maybe if we'd lost the game, maybe Monroe's glasses would have come off a bit more. But listen, let's get some more comments in, because a lot more people are agreeing with you on Cooper. Some have gone lower, a couple of 5s. Would have cost us against a better team. Listen, if Liverpool were clinical, we could have easily conceded 2 goals from those mistakes. But football's about margins. 5.5, 10 off.
Mate, no wonder everybody's fucking mad.
Phil's face there. Cooper 6.5. He's gone 5, ain't he? Bloody hell.
Mate, I have got a 5 in here somewhere, but it's not Cooper.
Of course you got a 5 in there somewhere. Marsh 5. Should have made the subs sooner.
Yeah, should have taken Somerville off like I asked.
Cooper 6.75 of Ian Ward.
That's way too high.
Yeah, I agree. I'm along the lines of Steve Brown there. Cooper 7. Anyway, let's move on.
You just said the one with Melier wasn't Melier's fault, so whose fault's that then?
Well, I'm assuming that's the one Steve's referring to.
What about the one where he just air kicks it twice and lets 3 people in?
Yeah, but they scored for it, didn't they? They didn't get a shot off.
Oh, it doesn't count because no one scored. Piss off, move on.
I knew that would. Okay, I also agree with you here, Phil. Okay. Nobody deserves lower than a 7. That's kind of the angle I'm going down. Maybe that's a little bit sentimental, but who cares? We've won 2-1 away at Anfield. I think Phil's just been a little bit.
Still 8 pints deep at this rate, you know.
Oh, Phil, I'm afraid the masses aren't with you on this.
I'm not expecting them to be. Stop flashing the comments up after.
Right, okay. So let's get some more comments in. So let's talk about Pascal Struick.
Yeah.
Pascal, solid again.
Yeah. I
think really, look at it, I've got to go an 8 for Pascal. I thought he was as solid as anyone was really in that back 4. And he has been all season, so I've gone an 8.
So far, every person you've given an 8, I've given the same rating to. It's clear that we're actually about just 1.5 marks apart, but the same things are said. I was very happy with his performance.
The differential's the same. The
differential's the same. We're just a bit more.
The delta's the same between the two ratings.
So, I thought it was a much better than average performance. I thought it was very good. I'm happy to round up to a 7. I went 6.5. He was good. Let's be honest, he's the best left back, not just at our club, but getting most Premier League teams, I reckon, at left back in the job that he's been doing for us.
I think low-key, yeah. I think Pascal's been that good at left back. I'm kind of thinking,
like, he's no Cancelo and he's not Robertson, but he'd do a job for most teams bottom half of the table, I reckon, in that left back position as well as centre half.
He's just good on the ball. He can do anything really in terms of might not be the most natural athlete going forward, or it might seem a little bit clunky going forward, but I think his quality on the ball, he can play us like a bit more of an inverted kind of fullback where he drops into the midfield from time to time or drops into the back to make a back 3 at the back. I think he's just such a good player for us, Pascal. I think he's probably been, for me, after Tyler Adams, our second best player this season, to be honest. Samuel Epstein, big thanks to Samuel. Met him a couple of weeks ago at the ground. Big thanks to the super chat, mate. I'm still buzzing. See you lads at Ellen Road on the 5th. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get down there on Saturday. Phil, are you there on Saturday?
I did have tickets and I had to sell mine because I'm not here. But thankfully, Lad and Dad are still going and they're going to take my mum because it's my mum's birthday present. So if you see Lad and Dad and my mum, go say hello.
That'll be nice. Yeah, legends, by the way. Make sure you do check out the Lad and Dad podcast as well if you haven't done already. But yeah, it's thinking what we on then. Pascal Struick. There's so many 9s and 8s in here, you know.
Yeah, well, mate, I'm just a miserable bastard.
I think that's the conclusion. I think the conclusion is that Phil is a little bit miserable, and yeah, it's.
I'm happy to bump up to a 7.
I'm happy to go a 7.
See, there's a couple of 7s. It's fine.
My man Michael is in the house as well, formerly Michael 20. Top man. Make sure you check out his channel. Please do, guys. Please check out his channel and hit that subscribe button too. Scores for Oscar and Phil so far tonight. Go for it. I wouldn't normally go for this. I wouldn't normally advocate this, but
this is where everyone will suddenly adopt my scale of thinking. Surely, there we go. See, realist. I like it.
Miserable or drunk.
They could both be the same thing, Gail.
Actually,
I'm sober tonight.
That is debatable at this moment in time.
100%. I'm on the
I
diet.
warned you before live that when you dropped that bombshell, you said, I'm not going to go 7.5 for anyone you know. Oh, no. Oh, no. Right, okay. Let's move on to the midfield now. The midfield, Tyler Adams. I have a feeling this might be the man you've gone man of the match, potentially. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. Yeah, I thought he was absolutely exemplary. But again, I've still got Melier as my man of the match. So I've gone down the line of an 8 for Tyler Adams.
Yeah, so again, as you already know, I went 7.5. For me, best signing we've made in a very, very long time. And just
maybe there has been Rafinha. I'm not sure if it's, I would say it's quite Rafinha level, but he's up there. Certainly in this era of ownership, he's probably top 3, top 4 already.
Mate, I'm extremely happy for the value for money that we get out of what we've got for him.
Consider the competition is Rafinha, Pablo. In fact, no, sorry, Pablo was just back in Chilena, wasn't it? Actually, forget it. Then he's second then in the list.
But yeah, mate, just rinse and repeat everything I say every single show about him. It's just that may as well call it the Tyler Adams Man of the Match award because I'm going to give it to him every week. I like the way that he just quietly goes about his business and just seems to do everything right. Sometimes I hear people say things like, "Oh, his passing's not great." I mean, I personally haven't seen that from him. I think his passing is very good. Obviously fits the system very well. And it's a different type of passing role than what Rocker in the other 6th position does. It's not looking for that ball forward. But generally speaking, and everyone's going to enjoy the way that as soon as there's a scrap, he's the first man there. He's got so much about him that I just really like. So, yeah, his performance at Anfield was the same as every other one. Just he's the best player we've got at the moment.
Future captain?
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I can definitely go along with that as well. So okay, we're pretty much agreed on Tyler Adams. So let's move on to Mark Rocker. Mark Rocker, I'm going to go a similar one, maybe a bit lower. I'll go 7 for Mark Rocker. I thought first half, it was superb first half. Maybe second half, a bit more difficult to get on the ball. A bit more testing for Mark Rocker. Yeah, I've gone 7 for Mark Rocker. Let's get some ratings in. Your least favourite player, Phil?
We know we both have. He's not my least favourite player. I like him. I recommended that we went and signed him.
You've done nothing but criticise him since you've signed him.
Mate, we've got very different opinions on him. I just don't think he's anywhere near as effective as people make out. And I know that the stats will say like the most progressive passage or yardage or whatever up the pitch, but if they don't lead to anything, then I don't really understand. I think defensively,
that's not his fault though.
Defensively, I think he's weak as shit. I think in terms of seeing someone finish 90 minutes once the whole season, that's not great either. I'm not sold on him yet, to be honest. I think between the two of them, Tyler Adams is twice the player so far. That's not me saying I don't like him. I don't wish we hadn't signed him. It's nothing like
Sounds
that.
a lot like it. He's passing shit. He can't tackle. He can't play a full 90 minutes. That does not sound to me like a player you're particularly fond of, Phil.
It's not that I'm not fond of him. He's just he hasn't proved anything to me yet. Not to the extent where people are saying.
You expected more to come from him.
A lot more, yeah, a lot more. From where he's been and what he's done before and what I thought we were getting. I like the two of them together, but if you take Tyler Adams out, as we've seen against Fulham, it looks a mess. I think Adams is far more important to the system, far more important to the team, and Rocket for me just needs to grow into it a bit more, the same way that for me Christensen had to do a little bit.
He's not a defensive midfielder. He was never brought in as a defensive midfielder. He was always going to be the more advanced of the two in terms of who's going to get on the ball more and play those line-breaking passes alongside the midfield destroyer. I think he's come across exactly in the description he had. I mean, I agree. Listen, I agree. Adams is more of an all-rounder. But I think you put anyone next to Adams. I think even if you put Calvin Phillips next to Tyler Adams on this season's form, and Calvin Phillips' form last season, I think Adams is outperforming him, really, to be totally honest with you. I'm not saying he's the better player necessarily because Phillips has got such a big body of work for Leeds United, but I don't know. I just think anyone, if you're comparing anyone directly to Tyler Adams, there's not really going to be much comparison. I think Tyler Adams has been that good. I mean, he's been our best player this season by a distance. So I don't know. I think I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to say Mark Rocker's this great defensive player who gets back really, really quickly and has really good running power. I'm not saying that at all. But I still think, it's considering what his role in the team is. He was never brought in as a Calvin Phillips type player or even a Tyler Adams type player. I think he's done pretty well at what he was kind of signed for, his passing range and ability.
Yeah, I 100% accept all of this. I think there's got to be more to someone than just can he pass a ball really well and really nicely between lines with his left foot. You've still got to be able to A, run, B, run quickly, and C, run for more than 30 minutes. And at the moment, they're the criticisms that I can do. So, yeah, it is me being harsh, but look, the goal that they do score, and I know I sort of said it's Christensen that
gets run for more than 30 minutes. Has he ever run more than 30 minutes? I always do this comparison.
Anyway, the player that I pointed out before, the player that I pointed out before for not marking Salah, obviously Christensen, I marked him down a little bit on what happened for the goal, but when you see that first cross that comes in, Rocker does a Liam Cooper, swings for the ball and misses it. If he just puts that out, that goal doesn't happen. Defensively, I think, again, Rocker's more at fault for that goal than probably Rasmus is. And that's not the first time I've said that in the last week. He was at fault for goals in pretty much every game. Defensively, I think he's quite lightweight on the ball, easy to get around, and I'm not sold on him yet. And yeah, I don't think it was a good performance. I know I'm not alone in thinking that because a lot of people that I was speaking to on the night were saying the same things to me. But yeah, I can understand if you don't like the number. The number's 5.
But they've been drinking as much as what you'd have, then I'm not surprised.
I don't think any of them were drinking. I wasn't there with them. We were just messaging. But
okay.
So yeah, I went 5. Q.
What was the group chat called? Mark Rocker's not good enough for Leeds United, or what?
It basically could be, yeah.
Anyway, so what number did you go for with Rocker?
5.
Oh my word! Really?
Yeah.
Really? 5?
Yeah.
5. Okay. How have we got a 5? I'll accept it. It is what it is. We'll have to meet down the middle and go with 6 then. I think that's pretty harsh, but we'll do it. It's about democracy and all that lot. At the end of the day, we'll agree. We'll go down the middle. Although I'm still not agreeing with your melee one. I'm still taking.
You say it's a democracy, and we go down the middle. We only go down the middle when it is not fucking your choice to go down the middle. Or you bullied me out of the other 5, and you're gonna let me have.
I'm glad to do because we just have more dislikes than likes on these videos.
Go on, move on to Brendan Aronson.
Okay, well, no, so 4-2-3-1. We'll go on to the right-hand side. Let's go on to Jack Harrison first. Jack Harrison, defensively, I thought he did this job really well. Not loads of moments in the second half on the ball, but first half, I thought he was lively. Actually getting in on that left foot and actually, having some shots on goal. Really good effort in the first period of the game. Again, he's still not quite at top form. I still think this is one where I'm going to go a bit lower, actually, Jack Harrison, and go for a 6, which is still decent. I think for his defensive work rate was good. Yeah, I've gone 6.
I don't want to speak now.
Why?
Because I've gone the other way here. A bit too high.
Honestly, mate, no, fair enough. That's only because it's the irony of it all that I've gone higher on every single one. But I know, fair enough. Mate, go on.
I've given him a 7. I thought he had a good game. I think
I was close to a 7, by the way.
Perhaps I could have been a bit too nice on this one because I can.
No. You've definitely not been too nice in this video to players. So.
Now, the end product wasn't there, I suppose, in terms of there was good runs forward, but then did he make the right decision? Did he lose the ball? You can probably already guess which bit I'm on about in that one. And then, obviously, when it comes to... oh, Jesus. Yeah, just fucking ignore me. Move on.
Phil, you can't give Harrison higher.
But I thought he had a good game. I think, yeah, look.
But in all seriousness, was there really a rating of 2 difference between like Mark Rocker a 5 and Jack Harrison a 7? Do you feel it's that big difference?
100%.
Really?
I'm not taking that back at all.
Okay.
Mark Rocker had a bad game, and it's not the first. Harrison, I thought it was fine. Good performance. The only thing that was missing was just the finishing touch. He got into a good position and obviously should have scored. Alisson makes a good save. Had a few good runs forward.
Not great on that right foot still.
No.
I know it's only a little thing, but again, we're talking about Paddy Bamford on the right
if
foot.
you're going to play him on the right-hand side, then that's not his fault. He is left-footed. He should be on the left. And he's better for
that. But he can make a connection, I think, with that chance he had.
Yeah, mate, I agree. Maybe I have gone slightly too high on Harrison. I'm happy to bump down, but I'm not bumping Rocker up.
Okay. I'm not. I should have flipped that. You keep going on about Rocker. I've left that. I agreed on a 6 on that one.
So, was the 2 between them?
I did actually, but still. Right. Okay. Brendan Aronson. I have gone for Brendan Aronson. I think first half alone, I think Fabinho's had a nightmare. I think every Liverpool fan I've spoken to living near the area has said Fabinho had an absolute nightmare and looked like an old man against Brendan Aronson, was the exact wording. Great chance to score, but again, it's not. I think that Rasmus Christensen cross in for Brendan Aronson, there's not a lot more Brendan Aronson can do with that. It's on his weak foot.
It's a worldie if he scores.
Yeah, I thought it was, for what it was. I know he's missed. It's a great attempt. He's beaten out. He's wrong-footed Alisson with it as well. In terms of Alisson's gone to go the other way, and he's just slotted it that way. It's inches from being a great goal, that one. That's just what he run the game, really. And I think against Fulham, I was a little bit harsh after that Fulham game. I thought he actually played really well in that Fulham game, watching it back. And yeah, I think I just wish our finishing was a bit better and you get more assists from Aronson. I think his creativity, I always thought he was a relatively creative player at Salzburg, but I think he's actually improved that at Leeds. Despite his stats being a little bit underwhelming for his quality, I think it's a really, really good player there. I've gone 8 for Brendan Aronson.
Fair enough. Again, I'm going to get in trouble there. I went a 7, the same as I went for Jack Harrison. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but on the Harrison.
No, I'm no problem with that. No problem with that.
Yeah, again, same as you said, just the same as, again, we say every week, he's just a fucking pest, isn't he? You'd hate to play against him. I liked, obviously, him and Tyler Adams getting in a bit of a scrap together as well with Andy Robertson. That was nice. It's about time someone just got back into Andy Robertson. But yeah, the first goal, as much as people can say, oh, it's Joe Gomez has had a nightmare there or the keeper's slipped, like, you've got to be that far up Joe Gomez's arse to make him panic and do that. And, you know...
Yeah, you give it up, it's a simple pass back to the goalkeeper.
Exactly.
No, it never really happens.
But yeah, I went 7, happy to bump up. It was a good performance again from Aronson. He's been quite consistent since he's come in. It does tend to drift in and out of games in terms of influencing them, but when it comes to actually running and not stopping, and you know, the stat that we covered 11 kilometres more than Liverpool the other night doesn't surprise me at all. I can agree there isn't really a final product there in terms of goals and assists, but as you always say, Oscar, like the second assist, you can guarantee that's usually 9 times out of 10. That's Aronson, just creating, drifting into places, and being a thorn in the side all the way through the game, which it is a bit unfair in terms of the stats don't always reflect the effort that he puts in, but yeah, he never stops running. Tireless worker for the team. I bet if you play for Leeds in that team, you'd fucking love having him and players like Tyler Adams that never stop running for you on your team. You'd love them.
What do you think? Do you think he's better? I can't really make a conclusion on this. He played in the middle against Liverpool. Played in the middle against Fulham, and I thought he had a really good game considering what had happened. But then obviously against Palace and Wolves, you know, he probably has his 2 biggest moments in the Leeds shirt, you know, in terms of the and Chelsea as well. Where he seems to play a bit more on the right as well. So, did he play on the right against Chelsea? No, he didn't actually. He didn't play. He played in the middle against Chelsea. So that was Dan James' last game for Leeds against Chelsea, actually.
And look what happened since. Should have kept him.
You definitely said that at the time, Phil. Definitely.
I did, yeah. I was all for it.
To be fair, you did actually say that. I apologise. I suggested you said different. You didn't say different, but
I don't care whether he kept him or not. To be honest, it's what it is. Let it go.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Crescencio Somerville. Straight away, I've got an 8. I thought his defensive work is best it's ever been for an elite shirt. Worked so hard to track back against Alexander-Arnold. Gave Alexander-Arnold no space at all. Maybe a little bit fortunate that with the finish for the winner. I think maybe Alisson probably would normally save that. But you have to be in it to win it, don't you? And I thought Lively on the counter, spun Van Dijk, spun Alexander-Arnold. 8 out of 10. Really growing into a league shirt now, and looks a really promising player for us, for me.
Yeah. Just agree with everything you said, mate. That's it.
Okay. Well, have you won any numbers?
For 6.5.
You scored the winner at Anfield and you were 6.5.
Thought he had a good, all right game, didn't he? I just didn't. I don't think he affected the game that much until obviously scoring the winner.
Yeah, he didn't affect the game that much apart from scoring the winner.
There was one good ball through to Bamford as well. If Bamford didn't have the touch of an elephant, that would have been good.
Quite easily had the goal and assist in the game.
Yeah, perhaps I should bump this up to a 7.
Perhaps you should. You must have known when you go through the ratings thinking, Oscar's going to pick up on this. He's going to get the chat. He's going to turn the chat against me.
I told you before we came live it's going to be like this. I don't think he was as good.
No, let's have it right. There's a few people agreeing with you here.
My man of the match got a 7.5. I don't think he was anywhere near as good as, say, an Adams and I've given Aronson and Harrison both 7 as well. Meslier, I gave a 7. So if you're saying Meslier was
yourself, Bill, you've said it. You said it now. It's done. The damage is done.
But you said Meslier was a 9, and then you've given Somerville an 8.
Yeah, no, that's true. The difference is the same. The delta's the same.
The trajectory is similar.
Trajectory is the same. Yeah. The margin's the same. Whatever word you want to use for it.
Rodrigo, come on.
I'll give Phil. Your rating's gone up now. It was a 4 out of 10 before. It's now a 5 out of 10 for the ratings. Rodrigo Moreno, 7 out of 10. Again, 6 goals already. If he continues to get 1 and 2, that'll be absolutely so helpful for Leeds United or any club that's in the bottom half of the table. And I'll stand by that. Is he the long-term answer up top? Still debatable. But yeah, I thought 7. I can see why people might go lower because he wasn't massively involved, but I think it was the nature of the game it was. Johnny on the spot for the goal. I've gone a 7 out of 10 for Rodrigo.
Yeah. I don't think we're that far apart on this. And I've gone 6. I think it was just an average performance for Rodrigo. Drifted in and out. Didn't really press too well. But yeah, in terms of the goal, look, that's exactly the kind of look that Patrick Bamford fucking needs to go for him. And I suppose knowing Bamford, if he would have got that chance, he probably puts it in the stand anyway. So maybe we're lucky it's gone to Rodrigo. But yeah, he's taken his chances this season and he's got the goals, and I'm pleased. But you can't say there wasn't still the usual, like Skibidi2 said here. There's still those really lazy passes where he just doesn't look before he plays them, and it puts us in trouble. I get to the point sometimes where he drops deep, and I'm just like, if you're that loose in your passing, I'd rather you just stayed up there. Do that loose passing in the final third. Don't do it in our own half and give the ball away. Yeah, I'm glad there's a few comments with me on this. I
thought there would be, to be fair. I've gone with policy. I've not given anyone under a 7. So
yeah, I get it. Right. The only people I went lower on in general, I went lower obviously on Rocker, Cooper, and one person who's coming up. But yeah, look, I'm not getting on his back. I said he had an average performance. It was average. He's got a goal. He's done bits, but the pressing's not great, and the giving the ball away all the time isn't either. So it's hard to give him more than a 6, I'll be honest.
Okay. A big thanks to Alison Adams. Smash the like, please, guys, if you haven't done already. Even if you disagree with the ratings from 1 or 2 players or every player, there's still smash the like.
You're allowed to like the video for if you like Oscar and just dislike it if you don't like me. That's fine.
Or like it if you dislike both of us. option. But you probably won't be watching in that case. Anyway, let's move on. Substitutes. First one was Paddy Bamford, I think. I'm pretty sure. Right. Came on around 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah. You're going to struggle to get him a 7.
It just didn't really happen. It didn't really happen for Paddy, let's be honest. Has to do better with the chance. It's not so much the fact he missed a couple. It was the poor touch beforehand, which showed the lack of composure, the lack of... I think composure is a big problem for Paddy Bamford. I still think in general he holds it up well. But the composure just wasn't really there in big moments. And he got a couple of big moments, to be fair to him. He does a lot of the right things. Assist. It's a good assist as well, to be fair. Flicks it around the corner. Might be being a bit kind there, but I don't know. I'm kind of between. I've got to take quite a bit off for that big chance, which could have cost us the win. I don't know. What have you gone with numbers wise?
I went 5.5, and I think I might be being a tiny bit kind. I don't think.
Okay, I can go. It's hard to give the reason. I agree on the miss. You can't take away from that miss and the poor touch and the chance and that lot. And
it's not the only touch, though. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Look, mate, I love Patrick Bamford.
I'll agree with you. I think I was probably going to go a little bit lower, actually, to be honest. But I'm happy to go higher because I want to be positive.
Yeah.
I want to be a positive.
That was me trying to be positive.
But let's just put it this way. He hasn't done enough to take Rodrigo out of the team at this moment in time. Even if Rodrigo doesn't contribute everything off the ball that Paddy Bamford does, he's not done enough to just. I don't think. You might disagree with me on that.
There's a question of you've got to start asking questions soon of what can you do to fix it, and I'd be tempted to give him a run of games in the under-21s and just let him try and put himself into some.
It is hard to watch
because at the moment, it's difficult, mate. You can see he's shot to bits every time he steps on the pitch. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and we've had that before with him. And he's a streaky player. As soon as he bags one or one goes in off his arse, then I'm sure it'll pick up. But at the moment. And the fans.
I was joking, guys. I will just say I was joking about the flick around the corner. It clearly wasn't a flick around the corner. I'm not making out like it was Patrick Bergkamp kind of thing. I'm not making that up.
Mate, at the moment, his first touch is like watching Lukaku when he was at Man United. He's got the touch of an elephant. It's so hard to watch. But we all love him. We all try and get behind him and support him. But I think the best thing you can do with a player like that at the minute is before it drags on any longer, get him into the under-21s and playing games and try and get him used to scoring goals. The painful thing is obviously when the team news comes out for Bournemouth, some people will still be going, I want to see him start. And I said the same myself for this game, in that I thought he makes a difference to the way that we play, the way that we press, the way that we do everything that we do really well. But in terms of that final end product, like I said, if that Rodrigo chance drops to Bamford, he'd find a way of missing it at the moment. Genuinely think he would. And something needs to go for him. And I think we're at a point now where you have to take that decision out of his hands in a way and just give him some more game time elsewhere. And that's not send him out on loan. It's get him some confidence in the under-21s.
Yeah, I think it's more confidence than anything. I think we saw a similar thing in that 2019-2020 season, the early bits of his Leeds career, where he is a confidence player. I think even when he was at his best, he was still a confidence player then. I think he built the momentum from that really good start to his first season in the Prem. He just hasn't been able to do that this time. And I'm not defending, some poor performances and poor misses, but I do think confidence is a big part of it. I don't think Paddy Bamford has gone from being a really good striker at this level in this first season to down here, just because he's become a bad player overnight. I do think the last couple of injuries especially have really hurt him, and there's no room for sentiment now. I think we still need to be ruthless if we don't think we've got the right options up top. I still think we need to be ruthless in the January window. Needed. I still think that's something that needs addressing more for Paddy Bamford than anything, because I think Paddy Bamford knows that he's still going to be in the team no matter what kind of thing at this moment in time. I think he needs maybe that little bit of pressure of another body in there to put a little bit more pressure on him, like we saw you'll laugh when I say this. You will laugh when I say this. But like with John Kevin Augustin when he came in, kind of thing. It was like, it was just the fact that there was another striking option. I know it never came to fruition.
Fucking terrified the life out of him, that, didn't it?
When you got, I tell you what, all right, okay. Not John Kevin Augustin. Let's go with Eddie Nketiah instead.
Yeah, go Eddie.
Why on earth did I think of that analogy? I'm going for John Kevin Augustin rather than Eddie Nketiah. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to get stick for this now.
Taking the heat off me.
Now, quite rightly so. But no, Eddie Nketiah, you know what I'm saying? Kemar Roof, when Kemar Roof was in the same team, a little bit of pressure on him. I thought actually did him good in a way. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on to who else came on. Trying to think what the order was now. Who was next?
I think Willie came on next, didn't he?
Just 1 second. Let me just make sure I've got this right. Don't want to miss anyone off. So it was.
Gnonto's the only other player I've given a number for, I'll be honest.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Aidan came on really late. I thought Aidan came on earlier, but Gnonto, I almost gave an 8. I just thought he was so. Whenever he got the ball, it just stuck to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, it's just whenever there was loads of pressure around him, Liverpool pressing for a winner, he just really took a lot of sting out of the game when he had to, and added fire to it when we got in the final third. And considering he played on the left, where I don't think it suits him as well as what he does on the right, I think he looked really, really accomplished. And certainly someone who's going to play a lot of minutes this season. I think he's really proven himself. If there was any doubt beforehand for Jesse, I don't think there is now. He's gone to Anfield on his debut and produced a last 20 minutes like that. I really could easily go an 8, I don't. What have you gone with, Phil?
Mate, it's again, I don't want the number to come across as me not giving him the credit he deserves, because it's the same. I know everyone that you've given an 8 to, I've given the same number. I've given 6.5. I thought it was a good performance. I thought he came off the bench and didn't have too long in terms of time to change the game, but obviously did change the game in terms of makes a massive impact in that goal. Surrounded by 3 players, still managing to whip a ball in and find Bamford. I'm surprised to see people going that low. I thought he had a good game. And for me, I don't understand why it's taken this long to see him at all, let alone see him for longer than what we've seen. So I hope that's a changing of the guard in a way, and that we are going to see more of him on the bench, more of him coming off the bench and changing games. Because, again, I don't want to take anything away from Somerville, who had a brilliant night, great birthday. But I think Gnonto in that 20 minutes has changed the game more than I've seen Somerville change a game off the bench so far this season. So I would prefer to see him go higher up that pecking order so far, based on what I've seen from 20 minutes. I
think they are different players. I do still think Gnonto might be the answer on the right-hand side, potentially. Obviously Jack Harrison, his form doesn't pick up. I think he's got pressure now, which is, again, I said it about Paddy Bamford. Hopefully we'll see that come to fruition for Jack Harrison. Obviously Brendan Harrison, we know Jesse's got no hesitation playing Brendan over there as well if he needs to. So, I'm really... It is a new signing, but it feels like a new signing in November somehow, rather than one that we made.
He's not fucking played, that's why.
I don't think we realised just how big a talent we had. And listen, he plays for Italy for a reason. The European champions. Listen, he is a top player for me. And wherever he does develop long term, left wing, right wing, centre forwards, I think he's got the talent to play. I think he's one of them, a bit like Joffrey, got the talent and skill set to play in any of those 3 roles. So I really am tempted to go 8. I'm going to go an 8 actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go an 8.
7 and meet you somewhere around the middle.
Very diplomatic of you, that, Phil. Anything we can't give a rating to.
It came on too late.
Okay. And this is the point of Steve Brown. It's a very debatable thing now, because obviously Somerville, I think, had his best game in a Leeds shirt against Liverpool. Hopefully Cini's back available. What do we do with that situation? Is there a case to play Sinisterra through the middle, as he is our best finisher? Or do you not start Sinisterra, or do you start Somerville? How do you go about that now, Phil? Because I was thinking about it yesterday.
You have to start Cine. You can't not.
I think so as well, but I'm just presenting the question to you.
Yeah, I think you have to put Sinisterra in because he's not just our best player. He's probably the best player we've got in general. Let's be honest. Maybe other than Tyler Adams, you'd put those two as the best two players we've got. For me, with Sinisterra, maybe if you're asking the term generally, but the thing is with the Bournemouth game, because Rodrigo has scored again, he's now scored 2 more goals in the last couple of games. He goes a few games without getting goals, but then he goes on a run of getting goals. So you'd struggle to argue, despite whether I think Rodrigo's played well or not against Bournemouth at home, that Rodrigo shouldn't start up front. So I think the answer to the question is, generally speaking, would I try him up front? Yes, of course I would. But do I think Bournemouth at home is the likely time to do it, or maybe even the ideal time to do it? Perhaps not. If Sinisterra is fit to come back in, he starts. Has Somerville done enough to keep his place because he scores the goal in the last minute? Perhaps. But for me, I'd still stick with Sinisterra, Aronson and Harrison as my 3. But I think if there is a question, it's going to be, like you said, is it going to be Somerville or Harrison that drop out for him? And I think that's up to Marsh, innit? I think he's shown so far in the last month, you'd probably say the likelihood is Harrison will drop out, not Somerville.
Yeah, I understand that. We don't normally do a rating for the manager, but Flash Clog has gone. Jesse Marsh scored a 9 for me. His tactics, team selection, and substitutes for all time is spot on for me. Hope he gets 2 more to windows. And I totally agree with that. What's that?
Bless you, dear.
Thank you very much, sir. I agree with that. I do agree with that off Flash Clog. I mean, unless there's anything else you want to add there, Phil, I think we can wrap that up, I think.
No, mate. It's been obviously a brilliant weekend. We've all very much enjoyed it. I apologise, my numbers were a bit low, but look, I want to go and see them not just take a win at Anfield. Let's go and beat Bournemouth at home, because that's a massive game. You can't take points at Anfield and then go and just go back on that run that we've just been. We have to go and make something out of this now and push ourselves away from that bottom 3. We're nowhere near as high up the table as we should be based on XG models and all that bullshit. But, it's nowhere near as high as we deserve to be based on what we should be giving from the last 8 games. We didn't get what we deserved out of Arsenal. There's been a few other games that we haven't maybe got what we deserve, but maybe our luck went the other way the other night. And if that's starting to turn, it's starting to change, great. But we have to take advantage against teams like Bournemouth. I'd like to see us go into that World Cup break without losing another game now. Ideally, get all 3 points against Bournemouth, try to avoid defeat against Spurs. And if we can as well, let's go.
A bit excited, yeah.
No, but maybe then I'll start throwing something out that isn't just 6s and 7s, but we need some performances, we need some results, and I will happily do what these guys did with Marsh as well. I'd give Marsh a higher number than I gave any of the players, to be honest, because he did get the starting lineup right, despite us all being extremely worried of what we were going to get. The substitutions, he got them right and at the right times. And in terms of game management, he managed that game really well. So if he can go and take on Bournemouth, get 3 points from it, and then game manage a good point out of Tottenham, get us through to the next round of the Cup, let's go to the World Cup, not fearing relegation, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, listen, there's 2 games which I don't think, even if we win the next 2, which I think is very unlikely if we're being realistic.
Yeah.
Well, no, listen.
4 points would be good, mate. 4 points out of those 2 games.
They're a little bit patchy. You never know what you're going to get with Spurs. So they can absolutely be ruthless with Son and Kane, or they can be a little bit disjointed and find it difficult to break teams down. I think if we take 6 points out of 6, we'll still be in and around it, probably. We probably won't be that far clear, but who knows? I do agree with you. It'd be nice if we're going into the World Cup not worrying massively about that City game, but we'll see. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it, really. And guys, if you haven't done already, do check out the Football Prize's latest prize on offer. Link in the description down below. Your chance to win the 1972 FA Cup winning signed shirts. Obviously, the 50th anniversary was this year, and I'm just going to leave it here as well. Make sure you check out the link in the description down below. Check out our other content as well. We did myself, Chris did a live one, and Jack did one yesterday. Reaction to the game. Make sure you check that out as well. Quick little snippets of reaction from the game too. Michael, I have to agree with this. 10 for Jesse for his air guitar celebration.
No. The celebration is horrendous, man. That gets a fucking 2. That's a 2. The celebration, it's bad. He says the same himself.
It's sound. We'll leave it there. Big thanks to Phil. Please don't be too harsh on Phil in the comments. He has gone deliberately lower today just to, anyway. Big thanks, guys. See you later.